naturalization of human. So basically when in the earlier stages, when the technology was quite low, human beings were afraid of the physical environment and they were completely dependent on it. So this was a state of necessity where they used to worship the nature due to the fear of that something will happen due to nature. So this was a stage where technology was low. Then secondly, there was no social improvement, or we can say socio-cultural improvement was also low. So at that time people were not aware of their strength, and they used to think that the nature is the supreme power, that nature is the supreme power. So they get afraid of it, they started worshipping it, and therefore they were completely dependent on nature. They even didn't think of doing something with nature, they didn't explore the nature. So next we can say they, that is human beings, were dependent on nature. So when they were dependent on nature, they started worshipping the nature. Okay, so this was primitive stages, not these stages, primitive stages. Okay, so this was how human beings were completely dependent on nature. So nature was the one thing that was supreme at that time, and humans were afraid of it and were completely dependent on it for their survival. We can term this period as the state of necessity. Why state of necessity? Because people were dependent on nature. They didn't have any of the options other than worshipping nature, and everything that is used for human life is obtained from nature. So it was a state of necessity for human beings to worship nature, and they were afraid of exploring it, that something will happen to them due to nature, or if they will harm the nature, something or the else might take place. So that time physical environment was considered as Mother Nature. So it was considered as Mother Nature because people were completely dependent on nature. So this was basically what the naturalization of human was, that humans were completely dependent on nature. The basic idea is humans are completely dependent on nature. So after that we'll come to humanization of nature and we'll talk about it. So fine, it is humanization of nature. Now what naturalization of human was, it is something different to humanization of nature. So basically what humanization of nature is. So now after the technological improvements, people used to realize that they had more power that they could to control over nature. So they need not to be dependent on nature for anything they do. So they start exploring and try to use the environment or nature as much as they can for their different purposes. So with that, they explore the nature, they come to a state where it was freedom. That is called the state of freedom. They were free to take benefit from nature as much as they can because they were having the technology to use the nature. So we can say at later stages, technology improved. So basically, you might be knowing that first of all, human beings started from some earlier stage and then reached to the stage where today they are. So same as with their development, technology also improved with time. So at the time of naturalization of human, technology was not so good and people didn't explore that much that they could use the nature. So in reverse, nature was the supreme power that controlled humans. But now technology has improved and people know how to make use of the nature. So they, that is human beings, move from state of necessity to a state of freedom. Okay? So human beings now, because they were having technology, they can explore the nature. So they moved from the state of necessity, that is naturalization of human, to the state of freedom, that is humanization of nature. State of freedom, that they are free to explore nature in any of the way that is required to them for their own benefit. So then we could say human took control over nature. So, or we can say they start exploring it for their own benefit. Okay? Fine. So this is that. First of all, technology improved during when nature was humanized. Okay, that is human beings start having control over nature. So then they moved from the state of necessity to a state of freedom where they could, the major thing is they create possibilities. They create possibilities with nature. That is whatever possible could be obtained from nature, they just obtained it. So humans were completely using the nature for their benefit. So what are the main points? We can repeat that. Humanization of nature, because at that stage technology improved. People moved from state of necessity to a state of freedom. Then human took control over nature, or we can say they start exploring nature for their own benefits. And finally, they create possibilities with nature. So that is how nature got humanized. Okay? because here human was the supreme power. Fine. So now we'll make a short comparison between naturalization of human and humanization of nature. So naturalization of human and humanization of nature. Fine. This was a state. Technology was low. Here technology got improved. Fine. This was the state of necessity. This was the state of freedom. Another major thing that the term we can use for naturalization of human, humanization of nature is because environment was the supreme power during naturalization of human, therefore it could be also termed as environmental determinism. One which is determined by the environment, that is environmental determinism. So therefore we had termed naturalization of human because it was determined by nature, so it is environmental determinism. And then humanization of nature, as I had already said, that people created possibilities with nature. So this stage was known as possibilism. That is, whatever was possible that human could obtain from nature was obtained by them through technology for their own benefit. So we termed humanization of nature as possibilism. Then after naturalization of human and humanization of nature, there was a third concept that came into light. And that third concept was introduced by a geographer whose name was Griffith Taylor. So these were the states where human was during the most earliest stages, and when technology improved, human was at this stage. So after that, Griffith Taylor, a geographer, said that it was a complete state of necessity and it was the complete state of freedom. So he tried to find out a middle way between these two. So what could be the middle way between environmental determinism, that there is neither a state of necessity nor there is a state of freedom. So we require a middle path, that is middle path. So this person introduced a middle path between environmental determinism and possibilism. So that these were the two cases that were quite extreme. That here technology was so low and the state of necessity reached to that state that humans were controlled by nature. And here it was an extreme stage where human took control over nature completely and was using it for their own purpose. Whatever possible they took out of nature. So this person said that like this, this thing cannot take place. That humans are either controlled by nature or nature is controlled by human. So he introduced a middle path between environmental determinism and possibilism, and he termed it as neo-determinism. So the middle path between naturalization of human, or we can say environmental determinism, or with the possibilism, was neo-determinism. So now we will look what is neo-determinism. I'll use this. Now I will move towards what was neo-determinism. As I had already said that first was naturalization of human and next was humanization of nature. And neo-determinism was a middle path between these two. So it was a state where there was nor absolute necessity neither there was absolute necessity nor absolute freedom. Absolute freedom. So ना तो वो इतने फ्री हैं कि वो नेचर को कंट्रोल कर सके और ना ही इतने कि नेचर उन्हें कंट्रोल कर सके. सो दिस इज द बेसिक आइडिया बिहाइंड नियो डिटर्मिनिज्म. सो द मिडल पाथ, नाउ वी कैन से व्हाट इज द मिडल पाथ इन बिटवीन. सो द मिडल पाथ इज दैट we are not saying don't create possibilities or become slave of nature. No, we are saying create possibilities. Create possibilities, but within the limits, so that possibilities should be created within the limits so that neither nature gets destroyed nor human get overpowered by nature. So this was the basic idea that Griffith Taylor introduced, and today that is quite useful. Neo-determinism can also be called as stop and go determinism. Why stop and go determinism? For this, we could take an example of traffic lights. Traffic lights are the one which shows three paths. First red, then yellow, and then green. So red says stop, yellow says get ready, and finally green say go. So you can see traffic light regulates us where to stop. Now this is the zone where we should stop, otherwise we might face some accident. Yellow light say that now it is time to go, but just get ready, don't go. Green light says now the traffic is clear, everything is fine, you can go. So the same way neo-determinism is guiding us where to stop, that is where we should not use the excess of nature, so that after some time we do not have much of the things to create with nature, that nature gets harm from us. And then when there is state of necessity, then this neo-determinism, that is we say stop and go determinism, regulate us that it is a state of necessity. Now we should use the nature for our benefit so that it do not get control over us. So this is how it regulates us. So here we completed with neo-determinism, and with that we completed the topic nature of human geography.